Hi, today we are going to be making something special for Passover. We had a special request for making matzo ball soup, or matzo balls that are gluten-free, because traditionally they are made with matzo meal, which is unleavened bread, so it contains gluten. So this is our version of matzo balls, but gluten-free. It's actually potato-based. So for this recipe, what you're going to need is 1 pound of Yukon Gold or Red Bliss potatoes. I chose the Yukon Gold. I think they add a richness and a butteriness to this recipe. You need to have them 16 ounces, about 2 large size of the Yukon Gold. You want to peel them and slice them. You need 2 eggs, 1 tablespoon of fresh minced dill, 3/4 teaspoon of sea salt, 1/4 teaspoon of crushed black pepper, and 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. You also need 1/2 cup of either potato starch or arrowroot starch. I used arrowroot starch because it did not have potato starch, and it worked out just perfectly. But if you have potato starch on hand, you can use that. And then you also need 1 tablespoon of avocado oil, olive oil, we like the Oleo Gold, or traditional recipes call for schmaltz. And what schmaltz is, if you ever see it in a recipe, is rendered chicken fat. So some people do like to use that traditional fat in this recipe, so you can certainly by all means use that. So I'm just going to get these out of the way. And to do this, what you're going to do is after you have peeled and sliced your potatoes, you're going to get a large pot, fill it about halfway with water, and you're going to put your sliced potatoes into the pot, bring it to a boil, cover it, cook it for about 20 minutes, just till they're tender. You definitely want them very tender for this. And then what you're going to do is, while those are cooking, in a large mixing bowl, you are going to mix the eggs, the dill, the salt, the pepper, the avocado oil, onion powder, and pepper. You're going to kind of mix this in here, whisk it with a fork. And then when the potatoes are done, you're going to take, using a slotted spoon, get this out of the way, you're going to take a colander and take the potatoes out with a slotted spoon, take them into the colander, put them either in a sink somewhere over a towel so they just can drain a little bit. So you want to drain those well. Keep your slotted spoon handy because we're going to be using that in a minute. So allow that to cool for just a few minutes. And then while those are cooling, you want to bring your water back to, we're going to be using the same water to cook the matzo balls. So you're going to kind of bring this up to a low boil. So once the potatoes are cooled off a little bit, you're going to put them in a bowl with the eggs and everything, all the other ingredients, and you're going to mash them well with a potato masher. Just going to really give it a good mash. I also tried with an immersion blender, and that did not work out so well. They kind of fell apart. They weren't the right consistency. We did taste test a lot yesterday. So this is the consistency you want, very thick. You want to definitely make sure there's no chunks. There's a chunk there, so I'll get that. So you just want to be cognizant of any chunks. And this is going to be very sticky, and it's going to stiffen up even as it just kind of sits here. So in order to form the matzo balls, I used 2 spoons, and I kind of just got about 2 large tablespoons. I got a big amount on the spoon here. And once your water is back to a boil, what you want to do, just a low boil is fine. You don't want it steaming over, because you're kind of going to be here cooking over the pot. You're simply going to take your spoonful of matzo ball mix here, and taking your other spoon, just gently plop it in, trying to keep as round of a shape as possible. That's easier said than done. In a traditional matzo ball, you are rolling them into a ball shape, but here we don't have, these are very sticky, you can't be doing that. So we do the best I can to get them as close to round as possible. Now the interesting thing about this, and apparently this is an issue, or people have their own, like everyone has their personal tastes. So how long you cook them is of some debate. So I did 3 different ones. I boiled them. What you're going to do is set the timer at this point, once you put them in, for either 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes. Those were the times I did. And if you like your matzos a little bit more chewy, here's my fork, more like on the firm side, you'd want to just cook them for 3 minutes. The 5 minutes is more like a dumpling texture, so it's a little bit softer. And at 10 minutes, you're really looking at a soft, fluffy, matzah. So it kind of depends on your own personal taste. Try them each way. The first batch, maybe just to everyone have in the family to have a taste test. If you do like them on the firm side, what I would suggest doing too, because once you make your soup, the actual broth, the soup part, you are going to put these in there and then they are going to cook further. So if you did like them more on the 3-minute, the firm side, I would suggest putting them in the soup bowl first and then just pouring the hot soup on. So we have one cooking right here now. And what matzah soup itself is really just essentially a chicken soup with celery, onions, carrots, some parsley, perhaps dill in there. People cook it in a chicken. So it's really like a chicken noodle soup recipe, however, without the noodles. So just if you have a family recipe of a good chicken soup that you like to make, by all means use that. Or you can just simply simmer some carrots, onions, and celery in some chicken broth. And once these are done, I'll get this one out. You just simply take them out with a slotted spoon. And now we have a lovely matzo ball right here. And we would have, while these are cooking, you can have your soup kind of on the stove simmering and simply drop the matzahs right into the soup directly, or you can save these for later. You can freeze these. You can, like I said, kind of make them here, keep them on the side, and then make your soup at some point and then pour the soup over the matzahs if you don't want them to get more soft, because they will cook further in the hot stock. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this recipe if you celebrate Passover, and this allows you at least to have some matzo ball soup with gluten-free. So we hope you enjoy.